to rejection. I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, you cannot stop it.
Good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this January 8th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, joined by my compañeros. I got my guy Phil Allcap, and I got my guy Mr. Jiggaman Porto. What up, fans? Wake up and get your coffee. How we feeling, fellas?
Sir. I feel like I'm back home. I hate flying. I hate airports. I hate how long it takes. And then you get home, you're like, I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to get it done. I did absolutely nothing when I got back home last night. Heck, I woke up this morning, I saw a text from you and Phil, and I was like, yep, I missed all that. So, yeah, traveling sucks, but I love that I got to hang out with you guys and the people that came out to hang out with us. Can we talk about that real quick? First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat, but let me tell you, this man got us, and we went, what was that place called, Phil?
It's called Grand Cathedral Cigars.
It was called Church.
It was called Church. The way they transformed that church into a cigar, like I was like, okay, this is definitely weird, bougie, but it was so much fun, man. Such a nice place. First time having a cigar, which was interesting. Hector, you inhaled, didn't you?
Yeah, it was horrible for me. It was a horrible taste in my lungs because we were smoking cigars. But anytime I get to hang out with my brothers, I definitely do appreciate it. Shout out to you, Phil, for that bougie ass experience.
Yeah, it was fun, man. So shout out to Grand Cathedral Cigars for giving us the opportunity to head up to their lounge and whatnot. Shout out to our guy Prophet for coming out, driving from Orlando. Shout out to my guy Adrian from taking the ride from Sarasota, and my guy Frankie and Gina for coming out. It was just a good time. It was a good time being able to hang out with you guys. But even more so, watching our team spank the 76ers on 4 giant screens, was beautiful to watch. Watching that Hartenstein block against Embiid. And we're in a VIP lounge, so we're not supposed to be like crazy sports bar loud. But as soon as that happened, it was just like, all right, all rules are off. I'll get in trouble later. And that was just like the highlight of the night. So it was good just hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, and let's be real. We really took that place over. We moved the chairs around.
Yeah, I didn't get that notice not to be loud because I was loud basically the entire night. I probably would have got us kicked out. But shout out to the chat before we continue. We are sitting at 2660 on the subscribers. We are 40 away from 2,700. So if you guys can, if you're watching us for the first time, hit that subscribe button. And like always, folks in the chat, smack that like button. Let's do a little bit of the roll call before we jump
even
into
more.
any bit.
We're 340 away from 3K. That's what we need to be pushing. I don't care about the 2,700. We need to be at the 3K. So hit a
Hector and I like the little baby steps.
I didn't do the advanced math to get the counting right, so I didn't want to do that like you just did. But shout out to my guy Double A who's in the building. Double A, how you doing? Double A saying he is tired of Stephen A. Smith. Shout out to my guy Jonathan who's in the building. Nick P, how you doing? Alex Nieves is in the building. Our guy Just Knicks, what it do? Salute. Murphy's in the building. My guy JJ is in the building. JJ, how you doing? Of course, we got Jacob Petruzzi in the building. You brought up Adrian, so let's shout out Adrian who's in the building. Julian Blum, what you doing? New York Rican 1980, my guy G Ram, salute. And of course, we got Slime Live. And like I said, we have over 60 people watching us collectively, 45 people watching us on YouTube. So if you guys can, smack that like button. Boys, the Knicks are on a 4-game winning streak. First winning streak of the season. We are 4-1 after the trade, 4-0 with OG Anunoby in the lineup. Boys, this is a new look Knicks, and I think the NBA is scared because of our boys. What's your thoughts, Phil? And I throw it over to So after.
So I think you're getting all the feels with Anunoby because you called him Anunobu. Like that's your boo. So I like that. We're gonna go with that.
I love him so much. That's my boo.
Anywho, this became a two-man show
deleted.
for the rest of the day.
Bye, Phil.
My boo. Anyway, Anunobu is killing it. No, on the real, this for me, I feel like this 4-game win streak means more to me than all those like 8, 9, 7 win streaks from last season. First, because it's happening before the All-Star game, before, the trade deadline. So it's showing us a lot of what we got, but it's also coming at a point where our team is starting to gel, and we can't just say that it's on the back of one guy. We've been able to do that before when it comes to, like these games and these win streaks, but now you could start looking and going, okay, yeah, so-and-so had a great game and they were the scoring leader, but without those, 18 points from Grimes, we don't win. Without those 12 points from Dante, we don't, like those numbers start to add up with each player that's contributing. And I'm really, really starting to enjoy that. I'm really starting to enjoy watching Knicks right now. Honestly, it could be the most fun I've had watching our Knicks since, the Melo or Mayberry days. It's the first time I can actually say every night, I'm like, yo, I want people to watch this with me. Like this is fun. This is enjoyable. So I'm loving it. I'm loving this win streak.
Yeah. What about you, Celcito?
Well, I think it was Billy on Twitter, and I loved what he put. He's like, I can't remember. He's like, it's been a while since I've been like, I cannot wait till the next game. And that's how I feel. Like, all right, I wish it was Tuesday already. Like, let's bring that next game. But last season, I annoyed the two of you, and I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, Phil,
just
Hector.
last season you annoyed us? Just only last season? I thought
But last season, I started something last season. We had 4 win streak. We had our 4 win streak last season. I started this, and I'm bringing it back, ladies and gentlemen. The count is back. We have 4 wins in a row.
I just want to you practice that before me and Phil jumped on the panel. Shout out to my guy Savage NYC. Can we please stop looking back and never mention RJ again? Let's move forward. Best wishes to all. Listen, Savage, I am right there with you. Yes, RJ Barrett probably had his best game as a pro last night for the Toronto Raptors, but Knicks fans on my timeline, they just kept like, it's like an ex-girlfriend that broke up with them and they just found the picture from back in the day. And that's how they were yesterday on the timeline. Listen, RJ Barrett is not on the team anymore. Emmanuel Quickly is not on the team anymore. We are on a 4-game winning streak. Let's keep it at 4 games. Let's build up on that. But Knicks fans out there that are living in the past, I ain't going to live in the past anymore. I wish RJ the best. I wish IQ the best. They are 3-1 after the trade with them in the lineup. We are 4-0 with OG in our lineup. So I'm feeling good right now.
And I feel like there's a way to do it, like Ben Stiller. You see guys like Ben Stiller that will post the stats and say, and say, congrats, RJ. Keep killing it, young man. Like people that are encouraging him, people that are, pushing to see him and IQ succeed. And what I hate right now on the timeline is there's either people that are grieving like the ex-girlfriend or people that are acting like, we got rid of a cancer of a human in IQ and RJ after, they played well for us and they, put in the heart and effort. So that fine line of, hey, they're gone. We can move on, but we can also wish them the best. Like Parrish said, neither team lost in this trade. Yeah. We are succeeding. They are succeeding. IQ is getting the position and the opportunities that he's wanted. RJ is home being celebrated, by his teammates. He's fitting well. OG's fitting well with us. I think that's the line that we have to walk. Like, no need to bash those guys. They did well while they were here, but no need to like wake up in the middle of the night and clench your pillow because they're gone either.
Yeah, definitely not. We got a $4.99 super chat. Yeah, go ahead, Sels.
Double A with the $4.99 super chat, keeping the lights on for the Brew. Appreciate you, Double A. Hope you guys enjoyed your Florida visit. I'm glad you got home safe. Appreciate you, bro. But yeah, Phil, I mean, I agree. It makes me think of like all the times that we've spent doing content and all the podcasters out there when we talked about we need to make a trade. We need to move things around. And at the same time, we were sitting there saying, We don't hate so-and-so. We just know they'd be able to thrive somewhere else. We'd have a better system. It's all a matter of what fits well. This is one of those trades you rarely see where both sides can sit there and say, shit, no one really got fleeced. It's working out for both teams perfectly. We're getting those of us that have sat there and said, hey, we didn't hate RJ. RJ just didn't work with Julius. Now you're seeing it. And look at RJ last night. So no shade. Celebrate it. I'm not sitting here saying I want Toronto to win. Oh, I want Toronto to win a chip. No, but I'm still going to sit there and be like, yo, RJ's killing it. Yo, it's good to see IQ do his thing. But at the same note, I can sit here and say, since they've been gone, we are 4-0, and OG and this entire team, guys, 4 games in a row where we're actually excited from beginning to end of the game. Like you cannot be upset about this trade at this point. Like both sides are totally happy. Now you can really sit there and say, what is that next piece? And that's why everything is, what's that next trade? And Donovan Mitchell this and this one that, right? But I'm sorry, I'm not going to throw shade at RJ or IQ. I think they both deserve to go kill it. And as long as it didn't make us hurt in a negative fashion, I'm happy about it, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, next time the Knicks play the Raptors, which is later on in the month, I hope IQ and RJ they both get destroyed by our team. That's how I'm gonna put it. But I got some numbers, right? And this is the effect of OG Anunoby in our lineup with OG in the lineup since he's been in the lineup in 138 minutes. That OG has been on the floor, 5.1 with a net rating of 29.6. And the 102 minutes our OG has been on the bench, the Knicks, they have a defensive rating of 127.4 with a net rating of negative 11.8. When you look at OG Anunoby, it's more than just his offensive numbers. What he brings to the floor defensively, it's infectious. You see everybody else stepping their game up defensively. You've seen Julius Randle step up his game defensively. Isaiah Hartenstein step up his game defensively as well. So it's not just OG who's shining on the court. It's OG and everybody else feeling that OG effect. And you just brought up the numbers right there. Bring them up one more time, Soso. I just want to read this tweet out just so the people know. Trading for OG, the New York Knicks, since in the 4 games, they are second in net rating overall, second in defensive rating, ninth in offensive rating, 9th in true shooting percentage, and we are undefeated in that time. This is from the Strickland on Twitter. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. But fellas, you see it. You see Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson both unlocking themselves. We were able to dog walk the Philadelphia 76ers when Julius Randle didn't even score in double digits. Can somebody say El Deuce de Leche? Deuce McBride is stepping up from the bench.
The Deuce is getting loose, baby.
The Deuce is getting loose. So we're going to stick it right there. Folks in the chat, let us know. Do you think the Knicks actually have to go out there and trade for a backup point guard and a Malcolm Brogdon and a Terry Rozier, or do you think Deuce on the loose is the way to go? What's your thoughts, Phil? And folks in the chat, let us know as well.
Yeah, so before I get into Deuce, the numbers you said were impressive because if you look at how we were trending in December when we still had RJ and IQ, our numbers were rough. We were not the team that we thought we could be. And I don't think we had a win streak up until this point. So it was pretty sad of a season when it comes to that kind of stuff. But when it comes to McBride, I love McBride. He's a feisty player. He plays with heart on both sides. But it's a sample size. It's one game where he came out and was like a sharpshooter. How many times have we said he's got one of the greatest looking pretty shots, but they never go in? Well, that last game against the Sixers, they all went in. And that's great, but it's not enough for me to say, no, let's not trade for somebody. I still want to see more, which is why I'm glad that we made the trade for OG with enough time to make decisions on what to really do with our bench. Because now we have a gauntlet of games coming up that we could really assess, okay, is McBride that guy? Now that he's getting the minutes, now that he's getting the opportunities, and it's not on him because he would come in after not playing for 3 quarters of basketball. He would get 3 minutes to play. And of course, he's not going to be a sharpshooter on fire, Steve Novak kind of player off the bat. He didn't have those opportunities, but now he has those opportunities. So I want to see how those opportunities pan out. before I worry about if we need a backup point guard to trade for. I think for me, it's still more of a let's work out our our forward situation before we worry about our point guard situation, because at least he's good enough. Even if he doesn't rise to the caliber of the 76ers game that we just saw, he's still good enough defensively and offensively that we don't need to make a trade. More so, we need to make a trade when it comes to a little piece in our starting lineup and then a power forward or small forward backup in the secondary. Those are my two priorities before, taking away McBride in this position. Give him a shot. He deserves it.
Gappy, what about you, Sels?
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough tape, right? We know what we like about Deuce. This last game was proof of that, right? And I think they pulled him too early. I think we should have gotten a little bit more time from him. But I'm not ready to sit there and say, hey, we need to get rid of him or keep him, whatever. He's not going anywhere in my eyes, right? He got the extension, unless they really did that extension just to make it a salary match for a trade down, whatever. But we all have been saying it for, 2 seasons? He's a Tibbs guy. Tibbs loves that kid. So now that he's getting a chance to be in there, it's showing. I mean, just in the last 3 games, forget the 4, the last 3, you've seen him get better each time. And that last one, but you could say the same thing about Grimes. Like, can we officially get to the point where everybody was questioning that should Grimes be with that second unit? Can we throw that out? Because the answer is yes. Like, before I was scared for Grimes to shoot a ball. Now I'm like, shoot, you don't even have to ask him to. He's doing it before you even get the words out of your mouth. Right. So for me, it's seeing those 2 Tibbs guys, 2 young guys do their thing. That's what's got me excited. But man, Deuce, I feel like he's just everywhere when he's out there on the court, and that's what I love, that annoying defensive style he has too. Right. Kind of like what we love about Grimes. So seeing both of them with that second unit, man, I'm liking it. I'm excited. I don't think it needs to be the end all factor on what our next move is. Why can't they just still be pieces as a whole, no matter what the next move is, because if you can pull off a move where, hey, you're still keeping Grimes and Deuce and getting that extra piece, and we'll go through some of the names because people in the chat are throwing it out there like crazy, right? But you look at a lot of those names, you possibly could get away with it without getting rid of a McBride or a Grimes. So I'm not ready to get either one of them right now, bro. I think they're both contributing in a big way, and it excites me a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with the both of you guys, and perfect words when you said about Deuce McBride. And I think the chat is on me when I say what I'm about to say. As much as I love what I'm seeing out of Deuce McBride, he's still learning, right? He's still learning how to be a solid backup point guard in the NBA. So as of right now, I think bringing in a veteran like a Malcolm Brogdon will help him along the way. Yes, he has Julius Randle. Yes, he has Jalen Brunson. But having a veteran point guard who is a backup, who has been a backup over the past few years, and Malcolm Brogdon, who won 6th Man of the Year, I think that would be the perfect veteran to teach Deuce McBride, hey, when you show up for practice every day, this is how you show up. Hey, when you show up for the game knowing you're going to be the backup point guard, this is how you show up. This is how you prepare. And when your number get called, you go out on the floor and you give it your all. When it comes to Brogdon, I know he's with Portland. I'm not too crazy about his contract, right? He's making $22 million this year, $22.5 million next year. So he has 2 years, or he has 1 more year left on his contract after this season. He'll be 32. I'm not too excited about his contract because I don't want our team to bring in a $22 million contract and then hamstring us during free agency this year. But on the flip side of that, if we were to trade for Brogdon at the trade deadline this year, we could still use him next year for a trade piece because he will be an expiring contract, and everybody loves expiring contracts in the NBA. Those are high commodities. So it's a double-edged sword when you look at the possibility of adding a Malcolm Brogdon. I've seen some people in the chat, and Phil, you brought up Terry Rozier. I love Terry Rozier. I think he's a phenomenal scorer. It's just defensively, he's a liability out there. And I don't think Tom Thibodeau wants a guy who's a score-first guy who doesn't play defense.
Yeah. And so this is the one thing I want to say about Malcolm Brogdon. I have nothing wrong with Malcolm Brogdon. However, Malcolm Brogdon now is not Malcolm Brogdon of 6 years ago. Like, he's still a good player, but he's 31 years old. He's going to be 32 years old. Has a very intense injury history. So when you're throwing out that kind of money to a player, you want to make sure that if you're throwing that kind of money, especially to a bench player, that they're going to always be available, at least for the majority of the time. And so what I want to make sure of is that we don't trade for a piece like that taking away our young guys, or, you know, taking away minutes from our young guys, because we kind of just made a weird kind of move. We traded some young guys, but it's given other opportunities for two new young guys to get a little more shine, which is Grimes and McBride. And they're taking that and they're actually executing on it, you know? So for me, you look at the timeline, Brogdon's timeline is a lot further along than all of the members of our team. Like, his age, his timeline is a lot further along, as opposed to Grimes. You get a guy who continues to develop. He's young. He continues to contribute to this team. And then when our old guys become too old, we have something already in the pipeline, especially if we're trading away picks right now. You know, like, if we're going to trade away picks for like this DeJounte Murray type thing, you know, in the starting lineup, we need young guys so that when these older guys start having mileage and we need to let them go and we need to trade them and we need to like move on, we have young guys instead of just young assets that we then have to start completely over with. So I think that RJ and IQ was the right time based on the situation, but eliminating all of our young guys with potential just to win right now, I think you're doing the Carmelo Anthony trade things all over again, just buying in for the next 2-3 years and then hoping that a miracle happens after that run where you can replenish your team really, really quickly. It's not going to happen. So I say keep McBride, keep Grimes, figure things out. If we're going to give away picks, give away picks.
Yeah, I'm not saying to trade McBride or Grimes for Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think we could make a trade for Brogdon by only giving up a second round pick, because he's not having the best season out there in Portland. He's not competing for the Sixth Man of the Year award out there in Portland, right? So yeah. I'm with you when it comes to keeping the young guys that we have, develop the young guys that we have, so we can make them complementary pieces around the veterans we have with Jalen, Julius Randle, and now OG, and then whoever else we add in the meantime, right? So I'm right there with you, right? But I feel Malcolm Brogdon would be a cheaper get than a DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is going to cost several first-round picks, where Malcolm Brogdon, I think, is going to cost at most a couple of second-round picks, if not a first-round protected pick for the Knicks. So
but real quick, Phil, hold on. We got 140 people in the building. Appreciate all you guys rocking with us this AM. If you can, smash the like button. I think we're at 39 likes with 140 people in there. How you doing? What are you doing? Just go over there. You just hit the little button.
The like button.
Smack the like. But I want to shout out a couple comments I saw in there and then throw it back to you, Phil. But like Parrish wrote, y'all are judging McBride on the wrong side of the floor. McBride with Grimes, Anunoby, iHeart, and even Chenzo is all world defense.
Right there with you, Parrish.
Yeah, you doing it, Parrish. What up, my guy? Julian Blum, Grimes just needed space to grow. Everyone wanted to throw out his kid for guy, and he's still wet behind the ears. Highly criticized for being a starter young. That was a Tibbs move. Yep. Agreed, Julian. And right here 100%. On this channel, you've been with us since day one, right? And that's what we were talking about. Why is it so quick to trade him? Move him to the second unit. Let him find that confidence. We know what that kid can bring to the table. He needed the time. I think the trade benefited him as well. We all see that, right? I think the trade benefited not just Julius and Jalen Brunson, the whole squad. You're seeing more opportunities. You're seeing more open space. So, Julian, appreciate that. But again, guys, in the chat, appreciate all the support. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the like. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, you know, so for me, when it comes to Brogdon, DeJounte, I don't even think it's the same category. You know, DeJounte is someone that can come in, be part of our starting lineup, alter with Brunson, and that's what I would love is the staggering that Tibbs can do. You know, because you can have, you know, Jalen take a break and DeJounte still be in the starting, you know, with the starters while Brunson rests a little bit, or DeJounte going to the second unit, switch it up. That opens up a lot of opportunities if you stagger them to on who's in, have them play overlap for a while, then take one of them out. That keeps a facilitator in at all times and a confident bucket scorer. Malcolm Brogdon is great of a shooter as he's always been. He's not going to be that guy that like bucket on, you know, game on the line, put the ball in his hands and hope that, you know, he can create something and get you somewhere. And so if you look at Brogdon, it's been mentioned in the chat too, he has these great seasons, but it's always like right before the playoffs, he manages to get injured. And then he's out for his team in the playoffs. So his high 3-point shooting percentage throughout the season actually means nothing when it comes to like money on the line, playoff time, because he's injured, you know? And so with DeJounte, I look at skill sets, I look at his age. He's young enough that he can be in the win now version of the team, but if he worked out, he could be in the long term. But if he didn't work out, he's a piece that would still be able to, at his like level of play, be moved for something else because teams will still be interested in him for the next few years. So it gives us leverage. With Malcolm Brogdon, you trade for him and he's a bust for your team. Like, you have a lot of money on the books to try and move once again. And so, especially if he gets injured. And injuries for us is something that I don't want to see, you know, going into the playoffs. I want to try to be as healthy as we can so that there's never that, oh, well, we were injured in the playoffs situation. That's why we lost. Like, I just want to see an actually healthy Knick team make it into the playoffs and see how we do. Obviously, we don't have that with Mitch right now. So we already are down one.
Yeah. Well, if you look back on Malcolm Brogdon's career, and injuries are definitely a concern, Phil, right? But if you look back over the past like 6 years, the last time he missed a big portion of the season was 2018-2019 when he only played 48 games for Milwaukee. The next season, he played 64 games for Milwaukee, only missing about 18 games. The season after that, he played 54 games. The season after that, 56 games. Then with Indiana, he played 36 games, but that was a shortened season. But then last year with Boston, he played 67 games. So he missed about 15 games last year. This year, he's played every game. He's played in 28 games. He's averaging 27.2 minutes per games. So if we can have a small sample size of Malcolm Brogdon coming off of the bench, mind you, I'm not asking for us to trade for Brogdon and put him in the starting lineup. No, I'm asking for us to trade for Brogdon to have him come off the bench so it could help Julius Randle. I don't think Julius Randle could be that primary ball handler with that second unit. So having a backup point guard like a Malcolm Brogdon next to Deuce McBride, next to Quentin Grimes, next to Josh Hart, I think will elevate the second unit because they have a guy who can handle the ball and who can distribute, and a Brogdon, right? Don't get me wrong. I like what I'm saying from Quentin Grimes. Man had 19 points against the 76ers on Friday when we destroyed them. I think he was 4 of 6 from the line, of 4 or 8, something like that. And like I said, when it comes to Brogdon, he is going to be the cheaper get. You're going to have to give up less assets in order to get Brogdon. You can make the salaries match up with Evan Fournier's expiring contract, which is 18 to 19 million. You have a trade exception that you could throw into the, I know you have a trade exemption that you can throw into the trade to eat some of that money so you can make the salaries match up. I just feel when it comes down to the trade deadline, I like our starting lineup. I like Jalen Brunson. I like Dante DiVincenzo. I like OG. I like Julius Randle. I like Hartenstein. I don't want to mess with that starting lineup. I just want to fortify the bench unit. I think Malcolm Brogdon will be the best piece that's out there that's available to fortify that second unit. Don't get me wrong. DeJounte Murray in that starting lineup would be amazing. But do we want to put all of our fish in one barrel when it comes to DeJounte Murray and our first-round picks? Or do we want to go for the cheaper option? We get Malcolm Brogdon, and in the offseason, if somebody becomes available, then we can use all of our first-round picks with Malcolm Brogdon's contract so the money can add up.
So but here's my question, Phil. You can take it from there. Are we looking at these options differently now just because of the fact that we won 4 in a row? Because if we had lost these games, would we be talking a whole different scenario right now? Would we all just be like, Murray's the one, Murray's the one? Are we looking at Brogdon now because of the fact that we won 4 in a row?
Yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing is, for me, we have sat on this freaking Fournier contract for so long with expectations that it was going to be used for a trade that was going to make us that much better. If at the end of the day, you tell me we held on to freaking Evan Fournier to bring Malcolm Brogdon at 31 years old off the bench, and that's what we held on for this whole time with Evan Fournier, for me, that's not a win. Like that's not a great thing for me. I'm just like, come on. Like, if all we were looking for was a Malcolm Brogdon, we could have done that in some way, shape, or form. You know, like,
but Phil, you're not looking at the bigger picture, right? If there's no superstar for us to trade right now with Evan Fournier's contract, if we trade for Brogdon, we could use that contract in the offseason to trade for that superstar.
Yeah,
So
but now,
different
now
pieces have
now
different. The Carmelo Anthony trade, right? When we traded for Carmelo Anthony, we got a first round pick from OKC that turned into Emmanuel quickly. So at the time when the Carmelo Anthony trade went down, Knicks fans were upset. But if you would have told them years later we would have turned that pick into IQ, which would eventually turn into OG, I think Knicks fans would have been able to live with that.
Yeah, but that's all like speculation. You're going with like a guy who is towards the end of his career, trading a guy who's towards the end of his career for a guy who's towards the end of his career, and then hoping that we can get a match, like from another team for Brogdon if we want to move him. Like, it's not like we're bringing in somebody that we're like, like I said with this whole DeJounte Murray thing, if we traded with Murray and he didn't fit what we were doing in the end, that's a for sure player you can still trade. Like, there is tons of talks of teams that would like DeJounte Murray, including the Lakers.
I get that, but you're giving up
a little more like at least we get something back if we trade him. Like, I don't want that.
I guess the biggest question, and if you look at what guys in the chat and ladies in the chat are saying, appreciate you guys in the chat, but
Facts.
I think everybody's on the same page on this next move. Has to be looked at. What is that player that takes us to that championship? That next piece that completes the puzzle. We've been saying it for 2 weeks now. The pieces are being shown, and that trade, if anything it did, was say, hey, we know what the pieces are for the puzzle. We were questioning for a season, 2 seasons, what direction are we going? What is the puzzle? Solve it. How do we solve it? Well, now with the OG trade, we see that. So the question really comes down to, is Murray that piece? Because it seems like more are leaning towards Murray being that one piece we need to take us to the championship. Does Brogdon do that for us? I personally don't think Brogdon does it. But then I sit there and you look at some of the comments in the chat. People are like, well, if Murray can't do anything with Atlanta, how's he going to do anything over here? If you guys literally had that one choice, and I'm asking the chat as well, forget the names that everybody's just throwing out there to throw out there. In your eyes, what is that one piece that we really need to take this 4-win-in-a-row team to the championship, Phil?
I don't think right now there is a one piece that gets us to the championship. Like, at the end of the day, I think it would have to be and that's why for me it's Murray over Mitchell, because with Mitchell you are robbing the bank. You're not adding anything if you get Donovan Mitchell. Like, you are all in on Donovan Mitchell. Like, if it doesn't work out, Luka, exactly.
Definitely, Murph.
But realistically, when you wake the hell up, what our options are. What up, Mark? Appreciate you, my guy. When you look at what's actually on the table, I would look at something like a Murray and then adding a player to the bench. And honestly, that could maybe be Brogdon. Like, you might have enough, in assets and stuff like that to do that. I don't know.
The salaries wouldn't match up. Yeah, okay, the salaries wouldn't match up.
Just something off the bench, I think, to complement a Murray would help. Like, I still think that there's few players that would work, and that's a perfect fit right there. Mark is right. If we could actually get Mikal Bridges, sign me up. Like, I don't care about anything else. Like, I will do whatever the freak we need to do. I will throw in a measly whatever I can afford, every month to help the Knicks pay his salary. Like, I don't really care. Like, I will work for food. Mikal would be the perfect fit. But
wait, aren't we working for food now, Phil? Like, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what we do. We make
Midtown Man, 24K with the $5 super chat, helping us keep the lights on. How about a trade that's better? Both players on our radar right now. How about we trade 2 first-rounders and Grimes for Derek Vassell?
The thing is, I love Derek Vassell, right? When he was in the draft, I was a big proponent of, like, I was hoping that he fell to the Knicks. Obviously, San Antonio drafted him. I don't think San Antonio is going to let him go. San Antonio is going to build their team around Vassell and Victor Wembanyama. Everybody else, like, if you guys didn't see that clip from Gilbert Arenas, grab the trash bags and just pick up all your stuff, put it in the locker, and get the fuck out. That's what Gilbert Arenas said about the rest of the team. The only players that that they're keeping on that San Antonio team is Derek Vassell and is Victor Wembanyama. I want to take a pause real quick. I want to shout out the chat. Appreciate all of you guys that's in the building. Carlos Cardoza is in the building. Building Blocks is in the building. My guy Parrish Dugga, how you doing? Knicks are nice. We got 188 people watching us collectively. If you're watching us on Instagram, if you're watching us on Facebook, on Twitter, click the link in the bio. Come join us over here on YouTube. We got 180 people watching us on YouTube. If you guys can, smack that like button. And I think we are sitting at 2,669 subscribers. So if you're watching us, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 3K by the end of the month. But this is my last take when it comes to the Brogdon trade situation and when it comes to DeJounte Murray, and we can move on to the next topic, right? I see every point that you're making about Murray, Phil, and it's valid. DeJounte Murray is a phenomenal player, but you said if it doesn't work out, I don't think the Knicks, I shouldn't say they're not in a position. I don't think it's a smart thing to do, trading away 3 first-round picks on a what if this works out. Right, I feel with Malcolm Brogdon, you can get him for a couple of second-round picks. You don't have to give up first-round picks. That way, in the summer, if a trade becomes available, if a player becomes available, like WOJ said, we'll get to that conversation, then we can use Brogdon and those first-round picks that we would have gave up for Murray for that player, right? I don't want us to just throw all of our first-round picks in a barrel right now just to get DeJounte Murray on the possibility of will it work out with him in the starting lineup. That's why I like the starting lineup we have now. I think Brogdon will be a valuable asset and a valuable veteran to come off of the bench, and he will be a cheaper choice as well. A couple of second-round picks with Evan Fournier in his contract. You can turn Evan Fournier into Malcolm Brogdon and then Malcolm Brogdon into something else in the offseason. If it doesn't work out with Malcolm Brogdon, you only gave up a couple of second-round picks. If it doesn't work out with Murray, you're hamstringing yourself by giving up 3 first-round picks to Atlanta.
Yeah. I want to give a shout-out to my guy Mark Swift that's in the chat. I just saw he posted something about 30 minutes ago, and this trade was something that he came up with because him and Deej, I guess, were talking about like where Brooklyn's at and where Atlanta's at. And this trade actually fits. It hurts my heart a little bit because it includes Grimes, and we know that I'm a huge fan of Grimes. But this was a great trade that he proposed.
Bring it up, baby.
Instead of one trade, it's a 3-team trade, and the Knicks would receive Mikal Bridges and Sadiq Bey. We would send out Fournier and Grimes with some picks to the Hawks, and the Hawks would send DeJounte Murray to the Nets in that 3-team trade. So the Nets don't walk away empty-handed. They get better. We get better. And the Hawks get a buttload of picks and a young player. And now we have 2 Villanova boys in Mikal and Sadiq coming to the Knicks. And we know we love that, Villanova culture apparently right now. And we know that Tibbs loves the hard work of Villanova boys. So shout out to Mark Swift, 183 on that one.
I like that. I'm not gonna lie. I like
is
that.
Is it realistic?
Sign me up. Sign me up. We got over 200 people watching us collectively, folks. If you guys can, smack that like button and hit that subscribe button.
Phil,
I definitely like that trade.
I know we normally don't do an open panel on Mondays, but you want to do a one at a time? I want to hear, because people in the chat are blowing it up today.
Well,
I kind of want to hear what.
You just put me on the spot.
I know. Look what I'm doing. So, ladies and gentlemen.
I will say no if I want to see in the chat people say that they're actually going to come up.
All right, who wants to come up and give us your take?
We're doing impromptu and we're waiting 30 minutes between questions. That's just crazy. So if you would want to actually be on the open chat, say, yes, I'll join the open chat.
I want people to come up and tell me what their perfect scenario is and what that player is, right? Because, we can sit here and read it all, but I see people, try to keep their comments short, right? You got Knicks are nice who's like, trade Precious already, damn it. I mean, so I want people to come up. If you are willing to come up and give us your take on what that next move is or player that you want to see, let us know in the chat. Just say a thumbs up or yes. I know our boy Double A will definitely join it because that's what Double A does.
That's my guy, Double A. That's a fact. I got two points that I want to make real quick. Shout out to my guy Jay, mi hermano de la Isla from PR in the building. He says, will Brooklyn make a deal with us? And then right afterwards, he said, Toronto did, so we never know when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets and trading Mikal Bridges. But I also want to give a shout out to Taj Gibson, right? The New York Knicks waived Taj Gibson. So much respect and appreciation for Taj. You know, Ben Stiller said it. Shout out to the Gibson family. You guys know that I'm friends with his brother Aja. Shout out to the entire family. You know, Taj is going to be a coach with Tom Thibodeau, whether it's next year, whether it's in the future, it's going to happen. So shout out to Taj Gibson, who was at home taking care of his baby when he got the phone call that the New York Knicks needed him for just a couple of weeks. So shout out to Taj for stepping up, you know, keeping his NBA body in shape and still being out there contributing to an NBA roster. So shout out to Taj. Also,
Look,
some money guaranteed up front. It's not going to hurt either.
Yeah, full transparency, heck. You know me, I'll message anybody. If I've got to find ways to be able to message, I'm like, Taj, what you doing tomorrow, 11 a.m.? He didn't answer. But we love you, Taj. Thank you.
You know, shout out to Taj. You know, that's a huge thing to go from like couch to 4K, yet couch to NBA. You know, like that's just a different kind of thing to be like, yo, I'm not playing, to, hey, the Knicks need me, I'm going to suit up, you know? And I don't think that would have been something that he would have done to just any team, honestly, you know? Like, I think, you know, he was chilling, you know? So to be able to say that he was willing to get up, come on out, contribute, do what he could, fill a need that we had at that time, you got to give your props to Taj. I appreciate it. You know, best of luck to whatever he does. I see this guy coaching or in the front office. Like, he deserves it. He's got a basketball mind. He's got a basketball heart. That dude just loves the game. So shout out to Taj.
Yeah, my guy Big Country in the chat just says, let's give Houston our next billion first rounders for Sengun and Green. Listen, I think if Houston was to trade any of those players, somebody's going to get fired. But shout out to Big Country in the chat who says, living in La La Land. I saw that movie. It was a good movie. Yes, so we're living in La La Land at the moment. Yes. Taj will become our next Herb Williams. Absolutely, Knicks are nice. I would definitely take that. Like I said, Taj Gibson, he is the perfect professional, you know, perfect leader coming off of that bench, perfect veteran to have around some young kids. So shout out to Taj. And again, shout out to the entire Gibson family. They do so much work outside of basketball when it comes to the community, when it comes to Fort Greene, because he is a Brooklyn kid at the end of the day. So shout out to Taj and his family.
All right, screw it. Let's do the open panel. See what we got.
All right, I'm gonna drop it. If people want to come up and talk
if
for a second.
people want to come up, they can come up. I want to
highlight. Go ahead, bro.
No, I want to highlight this thing that, you know, you brought up about Scott Perry, because, you know, backstage we was looking at it, but this is Scott Perry's thoughts when it comes to OG. OG fits in seamlessly. I'm sure he's still trying to kind of fill his way offensively, but his presence defensively, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, what the OG trade done is allowed them to really take ownership of that offense. Everybody knows it's going through them, and OG can play off of those guys. And OG is a guy that he does not need the ball in his hand to be effective. He is a catch and shoot guy. I know his first game, he had damn near 20 points. After that, he's been a little underwhelming when it comes to scoring, but defensively is where OG gets his money at. You know, let's be real. When it comes to defense, that's when OG locks in, and that's when OG gets his money. Point blank, period. Shout out to our guys, Ron and John in the building. Shout out to you.
Guard up Knicks in the building too. What up, Alawala in the building?
You know what's crazy to me? There's a narrative going on that like OG Anunoby is going to be upset because he's not included enough in this offense, or he's not like accepted enough on this team or this offense. Like, I'm sorry. When you see Julius Randle screaming and flexing after you dunk, like it's his own dunk, you are being accepted. You are being included. Like, I've never seen freaking Julius Randle get that hype off of any RJ Barrett dunk, off of any Mitchell Robinson dunk, off of any like Jalen Brunson shot. Like, Randle lost his mind after that dunk. And it's funny because OG is so calm. OG just dunked and started running off, and Randle's like, like for him. Like, he just stepped in and WWF Hulk Hogan did. It was beautiful. He was like, I got you, guy. I got you.
It's his personality.
Because we literally were sitting there with the cigar. We both were like, "Oh yeah, you see Randle?" I wish we had the remote to rewind it just for that moment.
Nick's a nice. He's being petty this morning. He chose violence. He said Randle happy that RJ is gone.
Shout out
Listen,
to our
you
boy
know,
Jay Boogie in the building. Says shout out to the chat and the panel. Blessings, health, happiness on this beautiful Monday. Hold up. I'm trying to get that Jay Boogie voice. Hold up. I just missed a call from Jiggaman. Dang. I hope he called back. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. Jay Boogie, that closer, our boy in the building. Go ahead, Heck. Didn't mean to
that's
cut
my
you
guy,
off.
Jay Boogie. No. I was just gonna say real quick.
Not the
Hold
likes,
on.
people. Come on. You know what? Maybe Phil. Maybe you were right, Phil. Maybe people aren't smashing the like because I brought this back. 4 wins in a row.
No, I was gonna say we got 206 people in the building watching us on YouTube, 224 collectively. We are sitting on 89 likes. If you guys can, we are 11 likes away from 100. Let's run up the likes. Let's get to 100 on this stream. Also, we are sitting at 2,678 subscribers, 22 away from 2,700. So if you're watching us, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, right? Before Double A comes up, right? We got Double A backstage. I'm gonna bring Double A up real quick. Just want to just listen to me real quick. When it comes to the NBA trades and stuff like that, it's a business at the end of the day. It is a wicked business when it comes to these trades. Last episode, in the episode before that, when we had Jerry on, Jerry was I brought it up that when you look at who reports on the news, you got Shams and you got Woj. Anything that has to do with clutch clients, Shams reports on it. Shams is the first one with any inside information because Shams, he is represented by Clutch. When it comes to Woj, anything that has to do with CAA clients, any inside information, Woj is the one that drops the bomb and drops the news and gets the first inside scoop when it comes to CAA clients because him as well, he is signed to CAA. Before the season started, RJ Barrett, he changed his agency from CAA to WME Sports. Do you know where Julius Randle, who represents Julius Randle?
I'm guessing that company right there.
WME Sports, because Julius Randle changed his representation at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Right? So don't be surprised if something happens in the offseason, if a trade happens in the offseason and Julius Randle is involved in it. That's all I'm going to say. When you look at the industry and you kind of understand how the business works behind the scenes and you start to figure out, oh, wow, these people are connected to this person is connected to this front office. That's how it works. It is a business at the end of the day. It is relationships at the end of the day. So you just got to sit back and wait. I'm telling you, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but if someone becomes available, if a CAA superstar becomes available, I just want to read off some names real quick for you guys so you guys know who I'm talking about when it comes to CAA clients. Paul George is a CAA client. Devin Booker is a CAA client. Joel Embiid are CAA clients. So, and the last one, Zion Williamson, is represented by CAA. So if any one of those 4 guys become available in the offseason, because Woj said the Knicks are setting themselves up perfectly if a superstar loses in the postseason and he gets frustrated and wants to be traded. Devin Booker, what's going on in Phoenix right now? Is Phoenix happy? Is Kevin Durant happy in Phoenix? Absolutely not. Look what's going on with the Clippers. You got James Harden becoming the face of that organization now. You think Paul George is going to be happy with that? You think if the Philadelphia 76ers, they get knocked out in the first round, you think Joel Embiid is going to want to stay in Philadelphia no matter how great they do this season? So just let's be patient, right? As much as we want to trade for a superstar, let's not force anything right now. Let's wait until the offseason and let's see who becomes available.
I love even building blocks. I thought Julius left CAA because he's not trying to give another discount on New York Knicks. I literally said that to Hector and Phil. I was like, either he's leaving or he said, nah, I ain't doing that hometown discount bullshit. So I'm right there with you, building blocks. Phil, did you have something to say on that? If not, I wanted to bring up because
the only thing I'll say on that is there are some people that do believe, one of the ideal dream clients for the New York Knicks would be Devin Booker, and ever since Devin Booker came in the league, there's been speculation that the Knicks would one day want to get Devin Booker. And if that's true, that is a target. Here's the thing. I think people call certain people haters because they say that, we need to see Julius Randle show up in the playoffs. I honestly believe that our front office is at that
Worldwide
point as
L.
well. I think our front office is at that point as well. I think if Julius Randle does not take us somewhere in the playoffs this year, he will be moved this offseason.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then you all can say that they're haters, just like I was a hater for saying it. But I think that if he does not get us somewhere in the playoffs and it winds up being 3 playoff entries and 3 poor performances in the playoffs, we will see Julius Randle moved.
Phil, Phil wakes up as a hater, right? For those of you guys that don't know, when Phil wakes up in the morning, wakes up in the morning, he goes to brush his teeth. He purposely takes his children's toothbrush and puts it high up, knowing that they can't reach it, knowing that they have to ask daddy for their toothbrush. That's all I'm going to say when it comes to Phil.
Y'all are stupid, but I'll tell you, our chat is hilarious. You got people talking about I switched agencies. I'm now a CAA client. You got other ones saying, "No, I left CAA." Y'all, our chat.
Let's bring up AA so you could join us again. We got 215 people in the building. If you guys can smack that like button, and like always,
Hector is a.
He just made that just for Hector.
You see, couldn't even get it on the screen. My guy.
Hater.
I'll be a hater.
Let's bring up AA to give us some of his takes. AA is in the building. What it do, AA?
A little somber mood this morning, fellas. I'm sorry I missed you guys, man. I wanted so bad, but I got a steroid shot, epidural in my lower back. And
I know AA. I've been getting those epidural shots since 2021 from my injury. Trust me, I know what you're going through.
So I really wanted to join you guys, but I said there'll be a next time. I know there'll be a next time.
Definitely.
Max.
Fellas, I know I'm gonna get all kind of hate, and I might even be the first person that gets paid to get off the air.
No.
But listen, we're winning the fucking chip this year, and you heard it from me. I'm the new prophet.
He said, "Move over,
okay.
Philly."
All right. No. Hear me out. All right. That OG move was a Dave DeBusschere move, bro. Remember when you guys weren't around. I was around. Dave DeBusschere was traded to the Knicks. It just marinated. It just made everything just flow and just go together. And this is that type of move, man. And I think we don't need a real superstar. We just need a couple of pieces that can help us on a long playoff run. I think we need another center, and I think we need somebody like a Terry Rozier, somebody like that can bring up some offense, okay? Because, we like Deuce, man, and we like Grimes, and I'm with Philly. We need to keep some young guys. We can't just kick everybody away because it's something called salary cap we got to worry about. We're getting ready to have to pay Julius. Well, he's still here. And we're going to pay, Brunson. We got to pay OG. And let me tell you something. We need to keep Dr. Frankenstein Hartenstein.
Yes, sir.
We can't let him go, fellas. We can't let him go. Not with Mitch, all these questions about Mitch. Dante's looking good as a shooting guard, bro. I'm with Hector. Our starting lineup is dope. But we just need a couple of pieces to help us out. We're going for the chip this year. I'm telling you. I know. Go ahead. Go at me.
Listen.
I'm talking about the chat.
You said it, and only one person threw tomatoes. Outside of that, everybody in the chat is all hyped for it. I mean,
it's all good. It's all good.
My guy Savage NYC said the meds are getting to AA ASAP.
The meds, bro. Look at the meds. That's the meds.
Take it back.
I want to shout out some people in the chat before we continue. Shout out to Coach 617 in the building. Coach, how you doing? Our guy Jamming Jet who's jamming in the chat. How you doing?
Bring me Evil Dante. You saw him? He said, bring him out.
Bring me Evil Dante. Shout out to my guy Stapper Don, the top general in the building. Stapper, I hope all is well. Salute to you. Happy New Year. Hope you and your family is feeling good. Who else we got in the building? We got Shy Powers in the building. My guy Shy, what it do? Salute. And of course, King Ribby is in the building. King Ribby, hope all is well. Salute to you. And then we got Ally Wise. Peace, God. Hope all is well to you. But I'm going to throw it over to you, Phil, to continue the conversation. Knicks play tomorrow against the Trailblazers, right? Yeah, against the Trailblazers tomorrow. What's your thoughts on the 4-game winning streak? Do you think it's going to become 5 tomorrow?
Yo, shout out to my guy Vince coming through. See him on X. Appreciate you, my guy. Yo, I'm gonna say this. If we
It
do
looked
not
like he
beat
got
the
the four
Trailblazers,
fingers too.
if we do not beat the Trailblazers after spanking the 76ers, something is off. Like, we need to beat the 76ers. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. Like, I think we take this game. I don't think that there's anything that they really have that we have to worry about, especially now. Like, it's weird. You remember when we were talking, like, before the OG trade, and we were like, you know, the reason we can't say we're there is because we go into games and we have to question, like, I don't know, we should win this one, but we might not. You know, there was that question mark. Now I got this confidence where I'm just like, come on, like, really? That's who we're playing? I'm not worried. You know, and that's how I feel about tomorrow's game. They got 10 wins. Like, we cannot let them make us their 11th win. You know, they need to be our 5th win streak. And I think they will be. You know, I don't think that we have much to worry about tomorrow. I think if we play with the effort that we played with the other day, I think there's very few teams that I'm actually worried about, you know, going up against. But we have to give that same effort that we gave against the 76ers and against the Timberwolves. Because I do think we are that much better with OG in our lineup than we were before. So I say we take that victory for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to Tuco Salamanca in the chat as well.
I was about to say, bro, like when I see names like that in the chat, like it automatically feels like they're in the right spot. Salamanca.
Oh, definitely.
You're
Definitely.
exactly where you're supposed to be with the Brew Crew chat. Appreciate you, Tuco.
Shout out to Tuco. Also, if you guys aren't familiar with Breaking Bad, Tuco was one of the bad guys from Breaking Bad. Get your ass whipped if you keep talking that ish. Davey in the chat says, Hector, I have an idea. Let's give all CAA clients a Knicks uniform, and they can be a sponsor and put along with the New York on their uniform. CAA. Listen, Davey, with the way the NBA has been going, I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, but I'm right there with you when it comes to that. So, what's your thoughts on a 5-game winning streak, my guy? Oh, he dipped out.
All right, so Double A, give us your thoughts on the game.
The game. Oh, one quick thing, Hector. The reason why Randle left CAA was his longtime agent left CAA, so he wanted to follow him because he said he did such a good job, he didn't want to leave him. But like you said, who knows?
Yeah.
I think we hold it down, Phil. We're not going to let down. I don't think we're going to let down. And I think if we put the hammer down, man, we can put some space between us and the bottom dwellers, you know, the guys that are headed for the play-in, you know.
Yeah, if you look at the standings, we go on a win streak here and we can easily be the 3rd seed. Like, that's how close this race is. We are only 2 games behind the Philadelphia 76ers, which is crazy. Like, we go on a win streak here. We already did the hardest part of our season. You know, that's what people need to realize is we are in contention for the position we're in after already going through one of the hardest parts of our schedule. Now, these teams are going to have harder parts of the schedule, and they're going to have to retain it because now we're coming against these teams that we should beat. So for me, as long as the team stays focused, I could see us at the end of this being in the 3rd, 4th seed, you know, at the end of this gauntlet, you know, pushing for that 3rd. My goal is to be pushing for that 3rd seed.
And if we don't make our trade, I'd like to see Tibbs start up in Deuce's minutes a little bit to let him get some experience. So
see what happens. We got a month before the trade deadline. The trade deadline is actually February 8th this year. So we're literally 30 days away from the trade deadline. Take these next 20 to 30 days to see what you have out of Deuce McBride, to see what you have out of Grimes. Yes, it's a small sample size. We need to see a bigger sample size out of Grimes and out of Deuce. We've seen small sample size out of Grimes. We've seen that. We haven't seen the largest sample size and him being more consistent with it for a long stretch term. And those short spurts, Grimes has showed us, wow, maybe Grimes could turn into something. I need him to be a little bit more consistent for a longer stretch of the time.
Double A, man. Appreciate you jumping up, bro. And before you go, our favorite troll, DSJ, in the chat. Look, you've been donned. He threw one out your way. Salute to Double A, who goes to Comic-Con dressed as Captain Freedom from the Running Man movie. DSJ is not right. Appreciate you, Double A. Later, bro.
Appreciate you, Double A.
Later.
You be good. You be good, Double A. We got one more. We got one more person down there. I think we got Apollo who's ready to come up.
Oh, we got, hold on. I didn't even know Apollo's back there. Let me switch it back.
Apollo, let me get it.
Apollo, thumbs up when you're ready, my guy.
Let me get a thumbs up backstage. So let me know you're ready. Oh,
there it is. Apollo.
Let's bring up our guy, Apollo. Apollo, how you doing,
Peace,
my
y'all.
guy?
Peace, man. How y'all doing, man? How y'all? It's good to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
Same here, bro.
Chilling,
I love when
Happy
you call
New
in
Year,
during the day job, bro. I always love it. I'm like, we getting
Yeah,
man.
Looking. Usually, if you got me stopping work to come in here, that means that y'all doing something good.
Nice.
We'll
Apollo, you've been listening to the conversation. What's your thoughts? Where are you at? Where do you want the Knicks to be at in the next couple of weeks? The trade deadline is 30 days away. What's your thoughts?
So I never really got to publicly talk about it. I'm initially, of course, the trade. Everybody was. I mean, I expected RJ to be traded. Personally, I knew that was kind of going to happen. But the part that everybody, just like everyone else that you were upset about, was the quickly being added to it. But we also saw that coming because they didn't, give him his money. So we kind of knew that was happening. But if you take a week later and you look at the trade now, it's kind of like, oh, hold on now. That was kind of a good trade. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone involved in the trade, I mean, aside for maybe Precious and Malachi, are in better places and playing better in their new environment. I just think that, especially if you look at RJ and Quickly over there, they're doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? They haven't missed a beat. OG came over here and he fits right in with the defensive mindset, playing high IQ basketball, cutting off ball, being able to knock down the corner three. He fits the team very well. Like, I'm happy about it. I think there has to be one more addition to make up for just some of the scoring aspect or shot creation. That's actually what.
Because scoring, we're doing well. We're scoring, right?
Scoring is fine.
Yep.
Right. Scoring is fine. It's shot creation that I'm looking for outside of Julius and JB. That's what I'm worried about in the playoffs, because if we get to the point where we're in the playoffs and another team knows that if Julius and JB aren't scoring, we're pretty much good and we're set to go. That can be an issue in the playoffs. And, and we were talking about Julius in the playoffs. I don't want to put too much on him. Hopefully it was an anomaly last year, but the way he played in the playoffs. But, I'll give him another chance. We'll see what happens. But even still, I don't want to put all that pressure on him and Jalen to have to carry us the entire playoff run that we have. I do think we should go out and get one more guy. It doesn't have to be a starter, because I like our starting unit. I don't want to add too much to it. I would like somebody off the bench. Like I was, these guys were talking in the chat about Brogdon. I love Brogdon. High IQ. I think he does everything on both sides of the floor that we would need from a guy off the bench to continue to add on pressure. So we don't got to really worry about Jalen and Julius scoring all of our points when it comes to shot creation. But aside from everything else, man, we haven't lost a game since the trade. I think we look great. We better not lay an egg versus Portland tomorrow. That'll piss me off.
Yeah.
But I think this team is in a better spot. You put guys together who are more in the same window, and I think that was the kind of issue that we had before. Is RJ and Quickly weren't in the same window as Julius and Jalen, and now that you put those guys in that position to, you put OG in there and he fits along the same time window as Jalen and Julius. I think we're on the right path. We just gotta add a little bit more to it. Let's add a little bit more.
No, I'm right there with you, Apollo, and I appreciate you for bringing up Malcolm Brogdon, because I low-key think Phil doesn't like me. So anytime I bring up trade scenarios, he never likes anything that I bring up when it comes to trades. So I appreciate you, Apollo, because I know Phil likes you. So when you bring up Brogdon, he's going to respect that. So appreciate you.
He's right, Apollo. He's completely right. Matter of fact, if you could just grab a seat, I'm going to exit him and I'm gonna give you his visual for the rest of the episode. Like, yo, welcome
All right,
to
I'll put a new tweet out right now, Phil. I'll put a new tweet out right now. Join guard up Knicks Apollo, Phil and Jigga. No more Hector.
Yes, sir. Hell no, man. I couldn't do that. Hector's a man, man. Hell no.
My guy,
Oh,
Paulo.
we
Appreciate you, my
bro.
guy.
Paulo,
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you, bro. Have a great day out there, homie.
Have a good one, my guy.
Take
All right, definitely.
Now
definitely.
we got a first time caller backstage.
Yes,
you know,
we do.
I know he interacts with us a little bit on
Yes, we do.
social.
This is
He creeps in the shadows. Y'all know how he do. You know, all of a sudden you get a like. You're like, CP, pay attention. CP, the artist, what it do, my guy?
What up?
CP,
What up?
how
What
you
up?
been?
What up, y'all? Could you hear me?
Real quick.
Yeah, we can
before
hear you.
Start talking. If you're watching and you don't know who CP the artist is,
What
like,
are you doing with your life?
there are people that create Knicks merch or whatever, and whatever. You know, like even myself, like graphic design was what I did in high school, early college. But there's a difference between me being able to like create something in Photoshop and a guy who's able to actually like take everything that he's thinking from his brain, put it to a pencil, and make it a work of art that you would freaking put up.
So you mean an actual artist and not an AI guy? Holy shit, they exist.
That's what I'm talking about.
I wasn't gonna bring up the AI. I wasn't gonna bring up the AI.
AI artist. It's the AI artist who don't credit the actual like OG artists. Those are the ones I have a problem with that act like that's in the past, because it's not. You know, there's a time and place for everything, but I'm not going to pay to have AI art hung up on my wall. I am going to pay to have a CP the artist image up on my wall, because that is art. So if you don't know CP, this is him. What's up, my guy?
What up? Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for the love.
I appreciate you, CP.
How we feeling about these Knicks, CP? Talk to me.
Good. Better than expected. I ain't going to lie to you. I thought they were going to struggle. I thought missing Quickly and RJ would have been like, adjustment. I didn't think that, Grimes and them had it for the bench, but they do. I'm pleasantly surprised. You know what I'm saying? The Philly win was really, big for me. I didn't think they were going to blow them out like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, this is going to be our toughest test. And they dominated. And they didn't look back. The Washington game, I was like, when they came back and got the lead. I think the lead down to like maybe 6 or 7, or maybe it was 10 or something like that. I don't know. I was like, all right, same old Knicks. But they're looking good. I'm looking for that one more trade. That piece to finally, bring us somewhere over the hump. Like, I'm not going to go championship. I'm not going to go semifinals. I'm just going to say, hopefully past the second round, we'll be more competitive.
So who do you think that player is? Like, because like for me, I'm going to go, okay, the trade just happened and I'm surprised with how quick it gelled. Like I'm honestly really floored for both parties. Like looking at even how the Raptors are playing, I'm surprised how quick they gelled with the new pieces as well. But for us, it took a back-to-back after playing against the 76ers to have a thing that we had to go, that bothered me in the Wizards game. But that was after a back-to-back against, an Embiid-led 76ers team. So I go, okay, I'll have a little bit of grace on that, that after the, second half of basketball on a back-to-back, you guys struggled in that third quarter. Let's not see that again, come Tuesday. But off of the 4 games, I go, all right, crap, we are a better team. After this trade, you cannot say we're not a better team. Mm-hmm. But who would be that piece for you personally that you're like, this would get us to that next spot this season?
Donovan Mitchell. But I know a lot of Knicks fans are going, it gotta cost too much. I don't care about the cost. It's been 70 odd years since our last freaking championship. The rent is due, man. You gotta pay with interest. I don't care what cost it is, but I know I've heard, especially from other Knicks content creators that, Cleveland don't want to deal with us or they're not looking to trade them and whatever. But then again, look, it's a chess game. So we don't know what is really going on behind closed doors, whatever. But Donovan Mitchell is my guy. I've seen Delonte Murray in person, and I wasn't impressed. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed. But looking at the tape of it, looking at his numbers, his defensive rating is amazing.
Yeah.
So he's doing something on the defensive end that makes you want to say, okay, gotta kick the tires on this guy. Because his defense, and he's gonna give you 20 points per game. So that alongside Brunson and OG will be pretty nice. So
yeah. And so the only thing I'll say, CP, is I understand the Donovan thing. Like I've been a fan since I was 7 years old. I'm gonna be 40 this year. That's 33 years of pain. Like I understand.
I'll be 48 next Monday. Today. Next Monday.
According to Bleacher Report, though, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for that matter, signaled to rival teams that throughout December they aren't prepared to even entertain any offers for Donovan Mitchell. So Cleveland has made it clear to the league that they are not going to shop him.
But Phil, even Mark Klein reported the other day that the Knicks do not intend, period, to do an all-out pursuit of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I think the OG trade actually changed their mindset as well, like we have as a fan base. They went from the spider calls to, oh shit, maybe we really should look at a different piece. Because if they're, again, we know they don't really leak stuff, but for them to even put a little bit of hint out there that Donovan is not the one they're focused on, that makes me think, okay, so who are the other ones that they've really highly touted, like an OG, that they're putting their focus on?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, with this OG trade, a lot of things changed. And I think the OG trade happened when it did because it was very apparent that they're not looking to move Grimes. I mean, looking to move Donovan Mitchell. But what it also does is it allows us to, whatever player we trade, allows us to then assess based off of this playoff run, do we keep this player or move them? And did Julius Randle actually show up in the playoffs, or do we move him? Like, then you're able to take whatever player plus Julius Randle, if need be, and try to move to something over the summer. Because Julius Randle, as great as he's played, no front office is going, okay, 3 playoff runs, 3 mediocre playoff performances. Let's see if we continue to build on that. Like, they're not going to do that. There would be a lot of bit of uproar, because everyone has said that the reason he played poorly in the second playoff position was because of his foot, his injury. Cool. If that's not injured this playoff series, it gives us a real showing. We can't say what we said the first year, that we didn't have players around him. We don't have Alfred Payton and Alec Burks next to him anymore. We have OG Anunoby. We got Jalen Brunson and whoever else we trade for. And now there can't really be any excuses except for play ball and show us what you have in the playoffs. So
CP, I saw you chomping at the bit, bro. I see you chomping
I know
at the
CP
bit.
want to go at it. Go ahead, CP.
Here's the thing. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, New Orleans Pelicans said they were not deal AD to LA, right? But then things change. I remember the famous line from Godfather, I'll give them an offer they can't refuse.
Bingo.
I do not believe for certain that these reports are 100% true. Let's remember, these are businesses, and they are playing cat and mouse games. They're playing chess games. They are increasing the value. If you tell me, oh, we're not going to offer Donovan Mitchell for da-da-da-da, what does that do? It increases the value, right? Oh, well, we have to bring up the stakes if we really want them. If you're in Cleveland's position and he's not signing his extension, right? You're gonna go out and tell people, oh, you're a little bit more confident than you really are. See what I'm saying? That you're going to either keep him or that you're going to, hold out. So you're going to raise the value of
Well,
him.
I'm glad you said that, CP, because my take the other day was the fact that Leon came out publicly saying that he would sit down with Clutch. To me, it was one of those moves that puts a little bit pressure on the Cleveland Cavaliers when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, right? So to me, this was their chess move back. Oh, guess what? We're not trading him for shit, right? So now it's you're doing the in the media kind of route to draw that attention. It looked like we had the upper hand with hey, everything's pointed towards Murray. Now you've got Cleveland coming. Does that make you again? Best offer available, right? So it kind of draws both sides,
especially with the reports that came out over the past couple of days. Oh, executives in the Knicks front office don't view Donovan Mitchell the same way they viewed him a year ago. It's like CP said, it's a business at the end of the day. They're just playing politics with the media. That's why I said, look at who's making the reports. Anything that comes from Woj, you could put 100% validity on it because of who represents Woj and his connections. Same thing when it comes to Shams. Anything that Sham puts out that has to do with Clutch clients, you could put 100% behind it because who represents Shams and where his insight sources come from.
So this is the only thing I'll say before we let CP go. The only thing I'll say is what worked so well about this OG trade is that it seemed like it was an instantaneous fit, which doesn't necessarily happen all the time with trades. Sometimes with trades, there's some bumps that you have to get over. And I honestly would think that as much as I love Donovan, I think that would be one of those trades that causes some bumps because you have now a bunch of players that are used to having the ball so much in their hand and having those 20 to 40 point nights every single night. There has to be some adjustments. There's no way that Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Julius Randle are going to be able to have enough touches that they're all putting up 34 points a night. There has to be some learning and adjusting and figuring out how to actually play together. And that would be my one concern about a Donovan Mitchell trade at the time where we are starting to finally catch wind and, traject up in the season. Trading for him now, I think, would cause at least a week and a half of games of trying to figure out who's really going to have to play a little selfless. Sure. Like, is Jalen Brunson really going to want to finally have the keys to a franchise, which is why he came to New York and left the Mavericks to now play second fiddle to a Donovan Mitchell who's playing a very similar position as opposed to a player that plays a little bit differently that he can play in tandem with. And then it's kind of like a sharing of spotlight. I think with them two, especially since they've gone back and forth with one another in the playoffs, to prove who could carry which team to the next round, I think there would still be a little bit of that competitive spirit when they first joined forces on the same team. And I don't think it would be as seamless. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my thought.
No, I can see what you're saying, but I also will say the only reason I'm on the other side, not to play devil's advocate, is we are proving when we make trades, we go on winning streaks. 4 wins! Because we had to start this shit last time. We started this shit with the last trade when we got freaking Josh Hart. So listen, we might be a team that just performs amazing after a trade.
He's going to do this all day. I don't want that. CP, tell people where they can find you. And I'm telling it right now, I've told you in private chats, before the season's done, I'm going to find a way to have a Knicks Morning Brew, CP the Artist collaboration shirt. So how can people find you, CP?
Let's do it. cptheartist.com. You can find me on Instagram, obviously Twitter, because I'm there on Twitter. So it's CP the Artist.
Yo, the way that CP carries himself, it's like the Joker from the Denver Nuggets. It's like Jokic. He's like, I'm good at painting. I really don't like this shit though. Yeah, I could design shit, but I'm just here. It's whatever. I got a light behind me. Fuck it.
Look, I am the worst at self-promotion. I just put the art out there and let it speak for itself. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it does speak for itself though, CP. I just want to give you your flowers. I've known you for past 2 or 3 years. Talking Knicks and shit like that. I just want to give you your flowers because your art does speak for itself, my guy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, CP. Doors open for you anytime, my guy. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all.
Later,
how's it going, bro? Appreciate you.
I see we got some more people backstage.
Yeah, we got to. Before we bring them up, we are sitting at 2,692 subscribers.
Oh,
We are
let's
8
get 8
away
more.
from
Come on.
2,700. If 8 of you guys are watching us, and if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let's get up to 2,700 while we are on the screen. Shout out to my guy Hard Will from For the Love of the Game. Make sure you guys go and support all the other Nick content creators that are in the community. You saw Still Nick fans. You saw Uncle Freezy in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Let's bring up the first person talking about Nick's content creators. Go ahead, Phil, before we bring up
shout out to the freaking viewers right now. So typically we're like looking at likes versus viewers, and we're like, yo, what's the big, gap between the two? And right now we're standing at 142 likes on this episode with 170 something watching on YouTube right now. So thank you guys so much for also hitting that like button. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm, helps with people that are in the chat right now saying first time visit, just subscribe. It helps those people finally get exposure to the channel. So appreciate you guys. And shout out to Blood of the Panther
with the $5 super chat. Subscribe and hit the like and notification bell. Don't be afraid to super chat like the top moderator of all the moderators just said. Help us keep the lights on, because we some brokies over here.
Nick Energy, appreciate you doing big things on Twitter. So shout out to
Big Nick Energy as well.
Shot Powers, Nick's Real Talk in the building. What a
my guy.
Happy New Year, Shy. Hope all is well, brother.
Same here to you guys, man. Salute to all of you guys. Heck, Phil, Jiggaman. Thank you for having me on, man.
Of course.
I'm just getting over a little sickness and stuff, so if I look a little rough and stuff like that, don't mind me. I get a little jiggy with it too.
All good, all good. Listen, as long as you healthy, as long as you good, that's all that matters. Hope the family's well, Shy. Happy New Year's, my guy.
Well, let's talk about it, Shy. Where you at? How you feeling after these last 4 games? And who's that piece for you, bro?
This is how I feel, man. I'm glad that we made the transition with the trade with Barrett and RJ, and I'm glad that we made the trade. I'm glad we got OG over here, and I think I'll say this. I'm old school, man. I just want to see what this team could do right now. But the way it's looking like we made space because we let Taj go. We took Taj off the roster to open up a spot and stuff like that. So I think there is a move to be made. I really want to see what Quentin Grimes. I like Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride in that backcourt in our second unit right now, and I want to give them as close to the deadline as possible. I do like Murray. I'm not opposed to Brogdon and all these other names that are out there and stuff like that. But right now, for me, I'm willing to see what this backcourt can do with Deuce McBride and Grimes can do. They've been playing some good basketball, man. I think the last game they scored about between the two of them about 35 points or something like that. And if they can continue to do about 24 to 35 points a game, we may not get a chance to see another move. It may be something that we may not, something that how Leon moves is something that we may not see coming from anywhere. So I'm not opposed to any moves. Me personally, I wouldn't mind to see it just a little longer what Deuce McBride and Grimes could do in that second unit, because they play stellar defense there in that second unit. And to bring Mitchell, I think it's too much money. I don't think that we're going to make that move. It'll be too many pieces that we'll have to move in order to get him. And they're talking Cleveland is like, oh no, we're not making no moves with him. Dante is he's in realm, but do we get Murray over here and then push Dante back into the second unit? I'm not sure. And does that mean that if we get Dante, do we give up Grimes? So it's a lot of things to be thought about it. But you talking about how the defense would be. The defense would be stellar if you brought him here in the starting unit. But right now we're not playing bad defense. In the last 4 games, I think we're like the top 1 or 2 teams in the league in defense right now. So, you know, you got to weigh your options and see how long that this thing can work. Do I want to go too far and don't make a trade and don't get this guy if we can get him? I'm not sure. But I'm sure liking what I see from Dante. And I mean, I'm sure liking from what I'm seeing from Dante, Grimes, and from Deuce right now on this team. And there's another thing that we haven't really talked about much. Wait till Achua, Precious starts getting more inclined into this, into this rotation, into that second unit. He's a defensive-minded player that can shoot the three, can hit the three, and he plays big minutes. So it's something that just has to be, you know, it's something that right now, probably Leon. I don't know what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is I don't know if they're ready to go all in on somebody to give up 3-4 first-round picks. Evan Fournier plus Grimes and 3 picks to pick up Dante, and then it's right before the deadline, and now he got to get acclimated into the system. Now he's starting again, and he has to get used to He has to get used to the starting unit. I'm not sure what it takes.
You know what?
They may not want to.
Go ahead, Heck.
No, I was going to say, and I thought over to you. They may not want to make that or hit that grand slam when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, trading all those assets for Donovan Mitchell, but they can still hit a home run if they get a solid bench piece like a Malcolm Brogdon, or if they pull a trade for DeJounte Murray. So they may not go for the big sexy piece in Donovan Mitchell or hit that grand slam, but they can still hit a home run if they go for either of the 2 that I just mentioned. Go ahead, so I'll throw it over to you.
2 things. One, Davey, I know you're back there. Appreciate you being so patient, bro. We'll bring you up here in a sec. I just wanted to say, isn't it great, though, that the conversation we're having now isn't about making a trade because things aren't working? Facts. It's a matter of looking for a trade that's going to make what's working even better. The funny text I got the other night, and I won't say who it was because I don't want to throw him under the bus or anything, but he's an OG. And his text to me was, the downside of us winning 4 in a row is we're not having a chance to see where we really need to focus on making that next move. You know, and obviously he's talking as a guy that's watched it for 50 plus years as a Knicks fan. And he's like, I'm not mad that we're winning, but it makes us sit there and only focus on the highlights and not really focus on what's that low light. I disagree on I don't want to lose, damn it. So I will take the 4 wins in a row. But the point is, we're at a point where we're sitting here saying, what trade makes us even better? Not, hey, let's get this trade done because this isn't working. So we're in a good spot right now. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. So I guess I see things, you know, from a lot of people's perspectives and try to formulate something that makes sense on both parties. Because I know some people are like, you know, this is hindering us from seeing what really needs to happen. But I feel like it's doing a little bit of the opposite. Like, it's keeping us from jumping into something that we shouldn't. You know, we've wanted to see something change. And I have to give my props to the front office. Like, this is genius. You make the move this early before the All-Star game, before the trade deadline really starts picking up heat, before players and teams feel like their back is up against the wall and now they need to make a move. You make a move this early so that it gives you more than enough time to see if these young guys can step up, because the last thing you want to do is say you want opportunities for the young guys and then not give them enough time to actually have opportunity to show you if they can show up or not. So this is giving these guys enough opportunities to either show up or show that they can't show up. It gives OG enough time to really blend in so we could see what the missing pieces are. It gives Precious, who's not OG. He's not a starter. He's not the kind of guy that you just throw in and he fits the new system automatically. He needs a few games to actually understand the system. He's a system player. Give him that time. See if he's something you can build around. So I think the front office moved at the right time. And that's why, for me personally, like, I even start to think outside of the names that are already there. You know, because I look at guys that may be great in their starting lineups right now, but they're entering that part in the season where, you know, their career where they have to start thinking about being a 6th man or a 7th man on a team, because they're not going to be that key person in that rotation anymore for their unit. And then they move to there and they can instantaneously give you a 20 plus point off the bench kind of night. That's why I was looking at players like Rozier, whether it's him or not, but he's the kind of person that in the starting lineup is putting out 20, 28, 30 points a night, and then all of a sudden he's 32 years old and now he's not going to be in a starting lineup. Why not put him on a bench now, on a winning team? That kind of player that can get you more than just 6-man kind of points, but something more. That's just my thought. But I appreciate you, Sha. Always, you kill it. I
Sha,
agree
let the chat know when you and Divine go live, so that way.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna do a little plugging of that
drop
for
the
you,
link
Sha.
as well.
I'm dropping
Yeah,
the link in the chat.
What we do now is we do the post game and then the pre-game in the same show. So we come on, we talk about the game that prior to happened, and then we go into the pre-game for the next game. You could check me on I'm on X. I just signed into Instagram now. I'm a new subscriber to Instagram.
Look at you,
you.
Sha. Social
I'm on
media
the Twitter
maestro.
thing. I'm on TikTok and all that other stuff. So same handle, Sha Powers. Maybe in Instagram, I think it's Sha Power 1. But check me out. You know what I mean? And another thing before I go, it is possible. Everyone was talking about we can't trade OG. I mean, we can't trade Precious. We can't trade the other guard that we just got, Macau. We can. We just have to make it in a separate trade. So we can trade him singly and then make the trade with the other players that we need to make too. So it's always a way to make a move in this NBA. It's always a loophole to everything in life. So always keep that thing in mind.
Appreciate you, Sha. Tell Divine we said what up, and I'm always in that chat, bro. So I'll see you.
Yeah, you already. Thank you guys. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for doing this morning brew thing. I'm glad that I'm up in here. Peace to the chat. You know what I mean? And let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. That's our guy,
I want to
Sha
apologize to Davey, man. He was back there for a long time. Sorry about that. It looks like he had to bounce. Just so everybody in the chat knows, for you new subscribers,
sorry about that,
every
Davey.
Friday, we always do open panel, not one at a time. Everybody's welcome to come up. We go around the horn and we give our takes and we talk our shit respectfully. We have a good time. No douchebaggery. Davey, I promise you, bro, if you're available Friday, pop on Friday. We'll make sure you're the first person to come up. Appreciate you hanging out there so long.
I just wanted to point it out. We're sitting at 2,697 subscribers. We are 3 away from 2,700. Let's get to 2,700 at the end of this stream. So if you guys can, like they always say, one subscribe away, it keeps the doctor away.
I love what Nick said. No matter who we get, I think we will get better. I'm telling you, I pulled it up a second ago. Apollo put in there. I love the fact that we can say we're a winning team with confidence. Even before the trade, we had a winning record, and there was still a little bit of that, we need more. OG in this trade really has made it to where we are truly a winning team, guys. How are we feeling before we wrap up the show? Because it looks like the likies are up really well today.
We got 170. We got 170 in the building so far. If you guys can, smack that like button. Let's get up to 160 on the stream. 159.
Cheesy Soul Cake said, I'm definitely popping in soon. Bring it, Cheesy. How can you not hang out with somebody called Cheesy Cakes? Come on, Cheesy Cakes.
Absolutely.
Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow's game. I think it's really gonna give us a little more clarity, on how sustainable this is. Like if we go 5 games, I think we can go 6. If we go 6, I think we'll go 7. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Precious Achiuwa can bring to the table. Because like Sha said, he is a good player. He can hit the 3, and we get that going. It's gonna start looking beautiful off the bench. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to Wednesday's episode, having Jerry back on, because I want to hear Jerry's takes on these, this win streak. I know his take on, women who have coffee cups when they should have Yetis, and that they own all those Yetis.
I haven't died.
To use them. So I know that from his recent Instagram and Twitter posts. But I'm looking forward to hearing about his thoughts on this win streak. And shameless plug, we do got coffee mugs. We do got shirts. We do got sweaters. We got some Morning Brew merch. We're going to have some more being drawn up this week. So I will put the link in the chat If you want a coffee
I just
mug
dropped
so
it.
you can drink with us, if you want a My Squad Stays on Point tribute to all of our point guards over these last however many years, check it out. We'd love to, see you guys rocking it. If you pick up something, please shoot us a photo of you rocking that mug or rocking that
Yes.
shirt or hoodie. We'd love to promote it as well.
And we just crossed the threshold. We are at 2,701 subscribers.
Let's go.
Appreciate you guys. We are 299 subs away from 3,000. You like how I did the math, Phil?
Yeah,
So you didn't have to scream
You
at
did
me.
a great job.
You like how I did the math? You didn't
You
scream
see
at
what
me this
happens
time.
when I
I'm
call
gonna
you
show
out?
the mug while you two fight. Look at that mug, people. Get your Knicks Morning Brew mug in your hands.
When
We're
I
just
call
trying to
you
get
out,
in as
it calls
many
you to
people.
more. It calls you
Yeah.
to something more. I love that.
Yeah,
I
it
love
definitely
that.
does. You get the best out of me, you bastard.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Anthony Rivera, appreciate you, my guy. Of course, my guy, Ally Y, salute to you. On Dios,
Dios,
NYK is in the
NYK.
building. I love that name.
Appreciate
On
you,
Dios,
for
salute
real.
to you as
I
well.
love it.
Cheesy Soul Cakes was in the building. Who else? Guard Up Knicks, our guy Apollo. Big Nick Energy. Make sure you guys go and follow Big Nick Energy. They do
Big
amazing
things
stuff
on
on
social.
Twitter, on YouTube, on social media. Shout out to our friend Mills Media, who does the post-game show with them on YouTube. Make sure you guys go and support everybody out there that's in the Nick universe, making content and bringing the content to you guys. Kid Marvel was in the building. Brooklyn
Oh,
Butch
hold on.
was
Kid
in
Marvel.
the building.
Kid Marvel, what up? That's the one you guys remember when we did the playback with Jerry? We got
Yes.
the live look in. That was Kid Marvel.
No,
What
that
up,
was from Kid Marvel.
Appreciate you.
My guy,
Yeah.
salute to you. Davey was in the building. Davey, we get you next time, guarantee. Mega NYK. Cam from the Kickback was in the building. Appreciate all of you guys. If you guys can, smack the like button, smack the subscribe button as well. So take us out of here, you handsome son of a bitch, you.
Thanks. I'm gonna say this real quick. 4. 4. Let's make it 5. But I realize we're gonna have to just put the number in his hand because you realize he only got 4 fingers, bro. I just realized the count only got 4 fingers.
It's very ableist
So what
of
were
you.
you doing
Just
all
saying.
last year when you
Very
had 7?
ableist.
I just kept putting the number and hiding his hands. I'm gonna have to do that
Yeah,
again this
that's
season.
what it was.
All
It
right,
was very
I want to make
ableist.
sure next time we get to put a 5. Appreciate everybody in the chat. And on that note, deuces.
Deuces.